Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Nimbatus with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the Sumo Arena. In today's video, we're going to simply be trying to make a Sumo drone, which is a little bit less brain-dead than the Sumo drone we made in the previous video. Now, this is my first time trying to make a Sumo drone exactly like this, so expect this to be a bit of a rough project, but should hopefully be able to win versus certain types of enemies, and once again, it's going to be a learning experience, which I swear is the goal of almost every episode at the moment. So let's get going. So with this Sumo drone, I have two sort of objectives with this. The first part is that I would like the drone to be in two sections, which means we have the main drone, then we have a secondary drone. Now this secondary drone I want to instantly split from the main body, go forwards, and act as a distraction or rammer, or just honestly push the enemy out of the arena if the enemy is small enough. Because we are splitting the two drones, we won't have too many parts to mess around with. After that, I would like the main drone to be able to dodge the enemy, so we are doing this in two parts. We have one part which pushes the enemy, and then one part which tries to dodge the enemy. We saw both of these aspects in the previous video, and I would like to try and combine them both and figure out just how they work. So definitely a lot of learning to do. So first of all, let's focus on the splitting half, which should be the easiest part. So straight away, what we're going to want is just a button somewhere on the main body, just to split the two from each other, and of course activate the thrusters on the split part. Okay, so we do have a limit on the diameter of this drone, so we can only be in this circle, and we can have 100 or less drone parts. Oh, I actually thought it was 50 or less drone parts. No, it's 50 or less diameter. Okay. Well, let's try and make it somewhat smaller anyway, just because that would be a lot more fun. Let's just put all these on here. Now, as always, the issue here is that the fuel needs to go with this. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that once we decouple, this thing won't have fuel and thus won't be able to move forwards. So let's just make sure this works in the way I think it does. So let's just put all of these under the same control for 1 second. Then I'm going to figure out if this functions correctly. Sure, save and exit, select. This will lose, obviously. Go! Well, it worked. Cool. Oh, that's neat. So that dodges based on where the enemy is coming from? I don't quite know, but either way, that looks really cool on the enemy side. Neat. What about going with multiple? Well, apparently it won. Yeah, going with multiple might be better. I didn't think that would reset everything, which is kind of annoying. Certainly an idea. That way we are hitting pretty much everywhere, but at the same time we're not getting quite as much force. And we could try and make these a bit smarter as well, try to make them go for the enemy drone, which wouldn't be too difficult. And if we build one, essentially we're sending out a swarm. So yeah, let's test out that. So how would I do that? How would I make it so that we have the swarm? Well, first of all, if we're going to use multiple, a logic splitter would go here. Then what we could do is add some sensors to this after the logic splitter, which activates turning thrusters. So these sensors activate in a similar way to the previous video, but instead of activating on the Sumo edge, they activate on the enemy. So if one side is hitting the enemy but the other side isn't, then it simply turns towards them. But then we are using a lot of parts. We could just have the sensors activate the thrusters, and if both are active, then they're both active and cancelling each other out. That's less fuel efficient, but it's more part efficient. Thoughts? Okay, so, prototype number 1. Let's see if this works out as I think it will. So this is really simple. In fact, it's a step backwards from the previous video, but I really do believe this is the best way to go about this, because it takes less parts, which means I can focus more on the core after I've done all this. I also sort of wish I could move the core back to here, because this is kind of annoyingly placed. Anyway, so what we have right now is this sensor here will activate this thruster. This sensor here will activate this thruster. So if one sensor is active, then only one thruster is active, and it will turn towards the sensor which is active. Quite simple. But if both are active, then both thrusters are on, it completely negates it, and it just sits there, or at least doesn't keep on turning. That's the idea. Now, we could use logic gates, so only one thruster is active at any given time at most, or what I should say is, we can't have both of them on at the same time. They simply cancel each other out if both is on. That would be much more fuel efficient, but then we would need more parts. And since we are limited in parts, and I want more stuff on the core, which is just about moving around, I think this is the best way to go about this, even though it feels like it's a lesson backwards. And, yeah, there we go, they all homed in, and now they're all stuck to the enemy. We will lose, because this thing's a complete pusher. Oh, no, we are going to win. Well, it did distract the enemy enough, so it kind of, pushed itself out. But yeah, they all moved towards the enemy, they all locked on, so it should, in theory, be able to counter evading targets. A little bit. Maybe. Definitely not enough fuel on them, though. I will upgrade how much fuel they have each. I like how our core is just sitting there like, yep, this is fine. Will I eventually win this? Oh, almost. One more time. No, oh, maybe. No, some of my drones are gone. Oh, I see. He's using the non-unlimited one. Also, I didn't even know that, but it looks like the Sumo circle slowly gets smaller. Huh. Did not know. It keeps on bringing that one back. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much. Let's continue with the construction. Today is a simple day. Yep, that's better. That's just outright better. Well, at least we proved the other way works, so I'm not counting that as a waste of time, but it was a little bit of a waste of time, let's face it. So let's just make this drone better, and then we can get started. In fact, so now we go back to the original idea. What's better, a swarm or a single? If we go with a single, it would be a lot easier to hide the fuel on it. We could have a lot more mass. But honestly, I just like the idea of the swarm, let's be honest. We've seen a lot of my builds, and clearly I love the idea of swarm drones and stuff of that nature, so let's just stick with that. So this is the brute force section. It's 4 of these swarm drones, which do all definitely work after quite a few tests and quite a few victories, in fact. So now we just need something for the core to do. So the idea is actually pretty simple. So we have the directional sensor, which I'll just put on the back for now. This will be using gravity. When it comes to the ring, is that the center or not? Drone core, Sumo, gravity cursor. Let's just see if that is the case. Yes, it is. Okay, as you can see by where the eye is pointing, as that does a little dance, we are indeed facing the center of the ring. Okay, then. Just testing to make sure this works. You know, may have mixed up the controls there. Just a little bit. Tiny bit. Honestly, it almost did what I wanted it to do. Just a little bit off. How about if I just swap you both? There we go. I forgot I placed that backwards. Now? Okay, yeah, so now what it's doing is it's trying to always face the center, which is perfect. So now all I need to do is have it so that it has sensors or some way to understand that, oh no, you're getting way too close to the edge of the Sumo arena, please turn on thrusters and dodge that. And then that way it's just going to circle the Sumo arena over and over and over again and prove a very annoying target, whilst these 4 things try to hamper the enemy or outright destroy it. It's a good theory, right? Right? That works better than I expected. Now, the problem with the swarm drones is they do have a tendency to simply go to the other side of the enemy. Okay, so that failed in the end because there simply wasn't enough fuel on the main drone, which is fine. That's very easy to fix. So I'm thinking is we could have distance sensors all over this and essentially have thrusters in each direction. That will make it very annoying to try and push out of the arena. Yeah, let's go with that. So what about that? So right now, we have the same turning ability as before, but now each of these sensors is hooked up to one thruster, so if any of these sensors activate, the thruster should activate and thus get us further away from the edge. The only issue I can think of is, as the circle shrinks, eventually these are going to be active at the same time, but that shouldn't cause too many issues, right? Right, I don't think it will. Let's pop down the movement thrusters again, let's find out. So it's doing the usual. As to be expected, it's just going to skirt around the outside for all eternity. Yeah, the circle will have to get very small for this to be affected. Let's keep on watching. Oh, no, it looks like we're going to win a little bit too early there. Your drone wins! Well, new drone wins. I do need to start naming these. A lot of people have said I need to start naming these, and you know what? I do. I really do. Dodge this! Yeah, I'm actually really happy with how this drone's turning out. Maybe I should move on to a new arena so we have some new opponents. I don't quite know how the system works for picking enemies, but maybe that would be for the best. Yeah, these only react to sumo borders, so if this thing does manage to get flipped or spin around, it should still be able to bounce off the walls, essentially. So do I want these to be further, the distance sensors? It would give us more time to react, so I'm thinking about doubling the sensor. Yeah, I am thinking about doubling it. Yeah, that should be fine. It's going to be a little bit mad once the circle goes right into the center, but I think it will make it more resistant versus tracking drones like these. I think. And maybe I should add some more strength to these sensors, so more thrusters, therefore more ability to fight off enemies. Yeah. So how does this work? The Sumo Arena Tournament. Is it just a matter of they keep on fighting more and more and more until the end? I don't know how this works. Hello. They're dancer. Oh, I see. So you have to win all of these. That's neat. Oh, I see what that's going to do. No, it isn't, because it hasn't got any fuel. I thought those were... Yeah, those are the charge thrusters, aren't they? Oh, charge thrusters would be interesting. At least on the ones which aren't going to be constantly active, because that would give us a burst of speed away from the wall. That is interesting. Oh dear. And we dodge. Maybe we need to dodge faster. Yeah, I think at very minimum we need some more speed at getting out of there. That one almost caught us. Oh, not quite. And the other one just turns around and then hits it in the side. Thanks, Swarm Drone. I always knew I could count on you. Ooh. I love seeing other people's designs. Swarm Drones, you're not really working together here. Swarm Drones, you're going to hit us! Thank you, Swarm Drones. Yeah, maybe just one drone instead of a swarm drone might be a little bit better here. The fact they don't work together is definitely a weakness. Wow, lots of sensors. And next up... Wow. Oh! Yep, definitely need to get out there faster. At least we're learning lessons. Magnets! Yeah, we should eventually win this one. Because we should be able to stay further away from the circle. Oh well, looks like winning anyway. But yeah, we should have been able to stay further away from the circle, so once it got to where that core is, we should have won that. Unless it dragged us in with the magnet. Unlikely. This thing is... We could try and push away from the center, but then that does make us more vulnerable to being pushed out. So that's going with a similar idea to us. Apparently my speech is gone now, but there we are. I can already think of a lot of counters to our drone, though. Oh, look! That's adorable! Swarms! Very similar to us. I don't even know whose swarm is whose. Very similar to us. Congrats, you won the tournament. Yay! Wow, look at that. As soon as people are using maximum drone parts. But saying that, you could just say... It doesn't show... Okay, so, drone size. There's obviously a correlation between size of drone and winning. But, you could also say that it's just a correlation of more people use larger drones. Because it isn't a percentage of people who use this size of drone won. It's just how many won full stop. If it was 100%... Sorry, if it was like... 60% of all people with 100 part drones won, but then 50, 40, 30, etc. Then that would be that. But wow, some people won with drones using between 1 and 10 parts. Dodgers, you can easily make a dodging drone with that few parts. That's how you'd win that. Huh. Well, I'm happy. First tournament win. Excellent. Let's go and do... Are there any sumo arenas we haven't won yet? Okay. Oh, yeah, you're a difficulty, aren't you? So this is a difficulty 3 arena. Oh, I see. So they use their difficulty to pick how many victories each drone has won, and then choose them. That's awesome. That is such a good system. Little bit more speed now when it comes to circling the arena. We did get knocked around by one of our own swarm drones, but there we go. We are victorious. Huzzah. And that gives us access to more things. Let's go and do this one as well. So I've decided to name it the Old Swarm and Dodge. Glorious. One more sumo arena finished, and I think there's one left. I love this slow motion at the end. Look at that one poor swarm drone at the far right, slowly turning to get back into position. You know what might be better? I've just thought of one improvement we could have with our droney boys. Hello, droney boys. If we had one of these turning thrusters on the back, it would mean it would spin towards the target a little bit more efficiently rather than doing the arc it's currently doing. Would probably make them a lot easier to control. In fact, what we could do is just have them really simply, just have a small thruster at the back. That way it wouldn't get in the way of anything. It's not exactly going to do too much, but I feel like it's going to help. Well, turns out it was a good job I was adding these back thrusters, because it turns out this bottom drone was a little bit incorrect. One of its commands was giving a command to the main drone. Thankfully, this didn't seem to affect it in a lot of the tests, but it is a pretty good explanation as to why sometimes one of the drones just flies off, because 2 of its thruster sets simply weren't active. So now it's working correctly. Huzzah for that. Also, you're not the same distance away, are you? No, you are. It's just you have middle thrusters there. Okay. That should all be working as intended. Going to give it one more check just to make sure, then we'll move on to the last sumo arena. Still the same sumo arena, just wanted to make sure everything's working. Those two are clearly working. You can see this one's trying to turn to the left, it just got knocked off. That one's clearly trying to turn to the right. Yeah, they're just getting in each other's way. Okay, that works well and good. To the last arena. Tournament wins 3. Simple/bad sumo bot. Hello there. Huh. Some kind of dodge drone? That's a lot of fuel for only small thrusters. Honestly, what we could do with our drones on a side note is we could use the larger fuel tanks in the drones here, but I do like having these fuel tanks refuel, which means they don't ever run out of power in the whole fight, which is pretty nice. So some things will run out of fuel, this definitely won't. Though honestly, I think the large fuel tanks probably won't run out of fuel in the 1 minute anyway, so maybe I will swap that over in the future. So what do you do? You activated there at the end. Yeah, I'm assuming that's some kind of dodge drone. It's kind of a shame when it's over so quickly because you can't see what the other drone is meant to do. When something counters something in the sumo arena, I've noticed the entire bout is over so quickly you just can't see what's going on. And it does make the other drone seem a little bit bad because of how fast it is, which is certainly not fair. It's just hard counters are hard counters, I suppose. Really curious about that drone. Has won 3 times, so it must be doing something. I'm just curious on what it is doing. Ah, well, we'll never find out. So with that, I'm going to be calling the episode. We've done all of the sumo I can see. We will be doing the other arena underneath here, most likely in the future, although we could just complete this and go here. Ooh, we can go through the wormhole, but we will do that in the next video. Huzzah for cliffhangers. So if you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Nimbatus is a series you wish to see continued in the future. I had a load of fun today. There are definitely ways we can improve our drone, but I think for a first attempt, this has made me a little bit proud. It's really simple, but it works. It's ideas which I wanted to do, and I actually did it for once, and that is so rare and such a nice feeling. Love Nimbatus, love playing around with stuff like this. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Have a lovely day, do take care, and goodbye.